We're joined by Kgoshi Mathibela Mokoena, the President of the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa. A very good evening to you, Kgoshi, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Were you surprised by these events as they've been reported?
Good evening, Tsepi. So surprise is an understatement. Shocked and embarrassed about this situation. I don't know what kind of language must we use for people to adhere to all the stipulated regulations on how to run our schools. I am embarrassed, Tsepi. So this is just unacceptable. You can't accept a 6-year-old child to enter school. What is he going to learn, young as he is, Tsepi? So.
What were you able to glean about the circumstances around this case, and particularly whether or not six obviously is not an age of consent, but whether the victim was, quote unquote, a willing participant, or whether there was an agreement, questions from the parents or guardians?
So our Act states clearly that you can only accept kids of a particular age. 6 years is not even something you can think about. Because, for example, in the Popo, Mpumalanga, Northwest, age restrictions, the compromise is that it's 12 years and above, not less than that. Hence, we, as Contralesa, we are calling for harsher actions against even the parents. Cannot go scot-free here, because how do they take their son to a school and of that age? And even the owner of the school, it is so unfortunate, because they were told what to do, even when parents are bringing their sons to the school and so on. You know what to do. But bringing a child of that age, to me, it says that person must just be banned not to have an initial school again in his entire life. We have spoken to the traditional leader of the area to say, please, let's make sure that this person will never see any permit again. And we said the law enforcement agencies, please, they must take this course and be harsh on this person, so that even in future, even those who might want to take a chance must desist or stop from doing so.
Kgoshi, am I hearing you correctly to say the parents were in on this?
The parents are not innocent in the whole saga, I must say. Even though there is consent from them, but the Act does not permit them to take that 6-year-old to an essential school. We can only start from 12 years upwards, not 6 years. Hence, we're saying harsher action will be taken against anyone, even though there's consent. But this is really criminal. This is criminal, Tsepiso.
Kgoshi, obviously there is rationale behind what is the appropriate age of eligibility. Are you able to share with us the reasons behind why you've set this age, and what are the guidelines? Usually
we are looking at 12 years and above. The 12th year is because we are saying these kids, they are still young, but they know what they are doing. Even when you teach them something, at least they can follow. They know what to do. And one other serious factor is that young as they are at 12 years, they are not yet sexually active. They will be able to go through this ritual without any hindrance. And we are saying, for example, in the Eastern Cape and other places, they prefer that they'll go when they are above 18 and so on. But the danger is that if they are of that age, 18 or 20, even above, they are now sexually active. Some of them will even hide to say maybe if there are some elements that they are taking treatment, they might not tell the owner of the school. Hence, there are so many casualties in the Eastern Cape and other places where they are going when they're above age. But provinces like Limpopo, Mpumalanga, and so on, hence the deaths at these provinces, it's very minimal. It's only those incidences like this one which we're talking about now, Tsepiso.
Right. So just looking at the challenges that have occurred over the past couple of years, and the fact that there is availability of these services at medical facilities, as traditional leaders, do you encourage parents to take these up, or are you still saying that the problem can be fixed by being stricter with, as you said, initiation surgeons or the schools that run this, by ensuring that there are stricter conditions that are adhered to?
So I'll be unfair to you and my beloved viewers. We have sent a strong message to say, yes, we are going this ritual, but if you observe that there are some situations that might go out of hand, we said to them, please call the assistance of our medical doctors. There are those medical doctors who are combat ready. I'm talking to you, for example, down here in Bushbuckridge, where I am. There are doctors who are ready. Anytime when you call them, if you see that maybe a child has got some challenges, they will jump quickly and come and assist. Yes, there are those people who behave like, oh yes, even if the child is sick or whatever, because it is at the initiation school, no doctor is allowed there. That is really out of order. It's unacceptable, because you cannot expect these poor boys who to can sustain all these other challenges that are there. When I go to his school, for example, I was 70 years, but you cannot expect a child now to be treated as I was treated when I went to the school in 1970. Therefore, it is imperative to all principals of those schools or Ingoma holders to say, please, if you see any challenge, don't be stubborn. Call the help of our medical doctors. That's what we're saying as Contralesa, to save the lives of these innocent initiates at the mountain.
You know, times have changed, including whether or not women such as myself are allowed to speak about this. Because of these challenges that we face, it has brought us to speak about them in, the public sphere. But the rites of passage, the intentions behind it, ensuring that you teach young men to be responsible members of society, I'm sure the intention behind it has not changed. But there must be an evolution of sorts. As you say, things are not the same from when you underwent that rite of passage as a young man in the 70s and when young men do now. And what I'm asking is, in the modern era, what do you think people should prioritize? Because some people think you're diluting culture and tradition if you say, for instance, no, a person must seek medical attention to make sure that the young initiate to be is in good health, and as you said, a doctor must be consulted. Some people balk at that. They don't like or understand that kind of initiative.
During our time at Tepiso, there was no medical checkup. There was no consent from parents. So, in fact, it was just something that you're treated as if you are trained to be a soldier. But times have changed. Health was saying now, no child must go to a school without any medical certificate to check whether the child is ready to go through this ritual. We are saying, yes, we're moving with time. And some years back, those poor kids, when they were in the mountain, they were not even allowed to drink water. We are saying that cannot be done. That cannot be done. Those days are over. Now those poor kids must be treated as human beings, as it is a norm. Now, if there are those who are still sticking like glue to those olden practices, we are saying wake up, because what you are doing, you are even arming people who are against our culture to lambast it. One death is just too many, because we don't want any carnage at our schools now. And this can happen if all of us can agree to say, yes, this is an initiation school. We are initiating our boys to move from this stage to that stage. But doing that, let's make sure that we are not putting these boys, these boys' lives at danger, where they might end up not being not going out of that school alive, because we are very strict on that. Hence, I said to you, Tepiso, doctors are combat ready to show that they were moving with time. Because in those days, some years back, no doctor will be allowed into that school. Regardless of whether he has been initiated or not, we said, no doctor must come here. But not now. Of late, we are demanding that doctors must be there. Hence, there are many forums. In those forums, there are doctors involved, there are male nurses, and all those experienced traditional surgeons who are making sure that our boys are going through these rituals, they come back healthy.
Thank you very much for your time. That there is Kgoshi Mathibela Mokoena, who is the president of the Congress of Traditional Leaders of South Africa, or Controlesa.